And I have joining me in the studio a global affairs analyst, Professor Ademola Abbas, and Okenfe Liberty, who is a political analyst, joining me from New York via Skype. Good to have you both join us this hour. Let me begin with you, Okenfe. Now, we understand that several of Trump's associates has resigned from office. Some of them were allegedly fired, but we've seen them write books detailing their accounts of working at the White House. And we've also seen several of them indicted for one offense or the other. So what do you make of the controversy surrounding President Trump's associates?
Thank you for having me. You know, this baffles the mind, but at the same time, I'm not sure people are going to feign any kind of surprises because, you know, we know the president has said this himself. He thrives in chaos. And for one reason or the next, it seems like he just knows how to pick the worst set of people to actually work for him. Perhaps there is some kind of a grand, interesting strategy that is part of all this chaos and indictment with every single person that that is working for him. But I just don't understand how the president is being entangled with these sets of people. This is something that we've not necessarily seen before in an American president, and I think everyone is literally just shocked the way he works with these sets of people. It's just mind-boggling.
All right, let me come to you, Professor Abbas. Now, Kellyanne Conway, we've heard about her resignation from as White House advisor, but she was a fierce supporter and defender of President Trump. On the other hand, her husband was a member of the Lincoln Project and the anti-Trump movement. Do you think that this is some sort of replica of the divisive rhetoric in America today?
Well, thank you very much for having me. I think you'll be quite right to say that. But what is important is the fact that both Kellyanne and her husband almost withdrew simultaneously. And we must understand that came from the fact that, as Kellyanne said, their children have suffered a lot. And you see one of the daughters actually has been twittering a lot in the past few weeks. And to the extent that, calling her mom selfish and so on and so forth. And she resigned to say that, look, I wanted to focus on the family, or less drama, more of a mama. But George, on the other hand, as you've rightly said, has been a fierce critic of Trump presidency. He's called him names. He has called him a cold liar, and so on and so forth. Now, the U.S. has become bitterly divisive. And I'm afraid to say that we should expect more of this, actually. That is more of people like Kellyanne Conway walking away. Well, she's not been fired, to the best of our knowledge. She's leaving for some family reasons. That might just be a spin. We don't know yet, but we have to take it on the face value. But a lot of Trump associates are likely to walk away as we get closer to November. And that is because I think President Trump is likely to get more and more desperate. We've seen his pushback against the posting, ballot, model. He doesn't like it. He doesn't want it. And what is also shocking is that you have Americans now, and Hillary Clinton said that a couple of weeks ago, you have Americans now not sure whether the president of the world's most robust democracy, so to say, will actually step aside if he does lose the election. And that shows you to the extent in which Americans have become so paranoid about Trump. To be saying that a republic, a country like of U.S. status in democracy that is more than 200 years in democracy is now not sure whether a democratically elected president will, voluntarily go or will go peacefully if he loses it, shows you to the extent that Americans have lost interest in Trump. So there's no question about the division in America today.
Let me quickly jump in there. Let's look at the associates who have been indicted. While we noticed that during the Democratic National Convention last week, there was a focus on character when it comes to Joe Biden. But Trump has said he's going to focus now on policy. Now, do you think that is possible, seeing that 3 of his campaign managers have also been indicted?
Well, you will expect Trump to say that. I mean, the question should also look at whether Trump is capable of focusing on policies. We've come to understand who Trump is. He says this now, it changes immediately. So yeah, he's going to try to focus on that because he knows he's not going to win the character contest now. Not with Steve Bannon, or with Michael Cohen, not with Roger Stone. You can grant Stone, you can give him pardon, you can do anything. But again, that sucks you in deeper into the filthiness that has come to characterize your regime. So it's highly unlikely that he's going to try to shoo people away from focusing on the characters of those people. I mean, I like the question you asked the gentleman over there in terms of why this. But you must understand one thing. Trump was a deal maker. He was a big deal maker. He said it several times, and he keeps on saying it. He thrives on making deals. So the people he brings with himself are people he sees as people can support his deal-making business. So, and that is why character has become an issue for him. So I see this being a very big issue.
Let me put you on hold and go to Okenfe. Okenfe, Bannon's arrest is coming a few weeks to the election. And we're also seeing that some records of one of his associates would be unsealed as well. And that's coming 4 days to the Republican National Convention. Do you think that this would impact on this campaign and the election of President Trump?
So first of all, let me quickly comment on the issue of Kellyanne Conway real quick. This is not necessarily the first time that we've had in American political discourse, couples that work for opposite sides of the aisle, right? We had a situation with James Carville, who was a Democratic strategist working for Bill Clinton, married to Mary Madeline, who was a Republican strategist working with the Republican Republican president. And we never really had any issue aside from just the regular political disagreement they have with themselves. But what is interesting, though, with regards to Kellyanne Conway and the husband, again, it goes back to the kind of people that Trump tends to attract. It's clear that their daughter wanted some kind of an emancipation to be done with the entire drama. And so I think they had to call a family meeting to figure out how they can sort this out. And my heart goes out to them, and I hope they're able to work it out. Now, with regards to the other question you asked, I think people have made up their mind about Trump, be it Republicans, be it Democrats. Everything else that is going on now is, again, just going to speak to people's consternation about what they already feel about Trump. I'm not necessarily sure that, that people, that you have minds that would be changed because of what is going on with Steve Bannon. People already know Trump. He's known. We know what he's capable of. And people have an idea who Joe Biden is. Now, the question that is left for the American electorate to figure out is, for the next 4 years, who do you think can bring America out of this present mess? And that is a question that's going to be answered on November 3rd.
Political analyst Okenfe Liberty and Professor Ademola Abbas, thanks for talking to us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.